front or western half, which isn't really much of a front since not many engagements are there, but keeping a MG42 team there to cover any attempts at harassment on that point. Half-track being repaired behind the enemy machine gun nest, meaning he'll be aware of where it's going to happen. Mortar being moved in to try and open fire, and at this point I actually hear the crump of the mortar firing, meaning I quickly move it away so I don't actually lose the half-track or the pioneers to repairing it, as troops conducting repairs or construction will take additional damage because of the extra exposure, since they're not really trying to take cover but conduct a task. Pack moving in, opening fire on the machine gun nest. Luftlande is moving in, finding themselves faced with Rangers, meaning that Colonel Stone has opted for the infantry doctrine and has gone for the old saying that with Rangers lead the way. Bazooka fire opening up on the half-track, causing heavy damage. Grenadiers moving out with supportive fire from the bunker, half-track. At the same time, the MP40 equipped Luftlande deal with the mortar team. Finally, half-track trying to pull out. Grenadiers opening fire on the Rangers. Machine gun nest going down from heavy pack fire. Second Grenadier team moving out, equipped with a Panther strip in case armored cars appear. One never knows, and rather have a bit of extra anti-tank capability just in case. The half-track being completely knocked out, leaving a smoldering wreckage of a half-track. Rangers pulling back now under heavy combined fire from anti-tank gun and Grenadiers. Further movement from Colonel Stone, but grenades causing heavy casualties along with other Grenadiers hiding up along further north. At the same time, up in my base, my troops are recuperating and regrouping, and I'm also going for the Sturm Armory. A friendly comment from my teammate saying nice job man, and me thanking him. Nothing wrong in a bit of good sportsmanship is what I say. All quiet at the moment as Colonel Stone is once more regrouping, calling in another mortar team to support his troops, since they have been effective in forcing me to keep my infantry on their toes and always on the move, making them not able to fire back as easily on the opponents. Another attack being prepared, mortars moving in, Rangers as well, and a team of riflemen being regained from the medical tents, as enough wounded has been picked up and treated. Mortar fire raining in on my small defensive position I was preparing. Barbed wire and sandbags, a usual good combination, so the enemy can't use the sandbag position in case you're forced to retreat. On the western half of the map we see a assault conducted by riflemen and flamethrower equipped engineers, but something's up since they're not really carrying on with it. Might be that the colonel is more concerned with the actions on the eastern flank. Riflemen moving ahead without much support. Rangers staying in wait, and the mortar setting up. Thompson submachine guns have been equipped, meaning the Rangers will be much more dangerous to face out in the open or to be attacked. Submachine gun versus submachine gun, and the Luftlande out in the open, taking heavy fire from submachine guns, rifles and mortars, forcing them to retreat while the Grenadiers move in from the west to an attempt to flank the position, lobbing grenades at the enemy. Rangers moving away from the grenade, suffering some losses, but the Grenadiers taking heavy fire, forced to retreat lest entire teams be lost. And I'm not quite keen on that yet. Grenadiers holding back, the Rangers are now exhausted from the fire up, meaning they won't hit as well and move much slower, which is something to note. While fire up can be useful for moving ahead quickly, afterwards your Rangers won't be as combat effective. The same applies to airborne troops. So just a friendly reminder. On the west and half we have a Puma moving out with some pioneer support. opening fire on the riflemen and forcing them to retreat. All German troops have been beaten back in the east, and only a pack cloaked tries to slightly sneak out and avoid detection by the American infantry, lest the crew suffer a horrible fate. Grenadiers moving out once more, and Fourth Grenadiers regrouping for another attack, while a second team is moving down the central road, probably trying to encircle the enemy position here. Mortar team moving about, but is perhaps going to be spotted more by Volksgrenadiers. No. Exchange of grenades. The riflemen taking the heavy end of it, suffering heavier losses, running into my MP40 equipped Volksgrenadiers, but they are now more concerned with the mortar team, who are now also facing fire from the Puma's 20mm auto cannon and MG34 coaxial cannon machine gun. Riflemen trying to sticky bomb it, but finding themselves exposed to heavy fire from the Puma, and the Volksgrenadiers should perhaps consider retreating, while at the same time Rangers moving up, trying to cause losses to my troops in the north. A large assault moving up. Rangers taking heavy losses, only one man left now, who quickly dashes back towards his own lines. And the Puma also forced back, since sticky bombs are bad for Pumas. Rifleman grabbing a left behind bazooka and seeking cover behind the half-track, and I have a Nebelwerfer on the field, opening fire at what I suspect might be an enemy position, but sadly no one is hit. But I'm sure Colonel Stone's men are most relieved to have avoided Nebelwerfer fire. Choosing this position here for it to be placed, and I go for the blitzkrieg doctrine at this moment, and quickly go for the half with troops for it, meaning stormtroopers and the Stu 42 assault gun. Rangers opening fire on the Puma, causing some damage, but Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers are moving in to the rescue to support it, causing losses to the Rangers. Open fire and throw grenades on the Grenadiers, but are forced to retreat under heavy fire, as they can't possibly deal with that many things. And the Volksgrenadiers and along with the Grenadiers have received veterancy too, meaning they'll be much or somewhat tougher to deal with for the Americans. Once more the Puma moves in for the kill on the mortar team, but once more they retreat safely. On the western arm of the map we see an attempt at seizing the western victory point, stopped by my Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers, but a bit too late, and the Rangers escaped pretty much completely unscathed. Further casualties being dragged in by the medics. Brave men, brave men. And I decide not to open fire on them, deciding to obey the Geneva Conventions for this time. Much to the pleasure of my mother, I'm sure. Stormtroopers moving in, grabbing a bazooka, and MP44s also being equipped. An attempt by my Puma to scout out the enemy's base is met with heavy fire, as Rangers, riflemen and flamethrowers are moving in. And we quickly have a large fight on our hands, as Grenadiers and Pioneers moving in as well to meet this oncoming surge of American infantry. The stormtroopers moving out into the whole thing, perhaps not the brightest move, but with a bundle grenade I figure it might be worth it. Going off, killing 4 infantrymen, moving a bit back so they won't be hit so hard. Nebelwerfer fire raining in as well, causing more further casualties. Heavy casualties in fact, and the wall that is normally here starts to crumble under the heavy fire from the artillery. As for whatever time it was built, it was probably not built to withstand incendiary rockets. Another bundle grenade is thrown, since here it's probably not the best point to move in. It's a bottleneck of quite the size, meaning anyone moving in there will be a target for grenades. In this case, a really big one. Numerous riflemen and a few rangers lost. Puma holding back, opening fire. Rangers bravely moving forward, opening fire. One hit, one miss. But taking heavy return fire from the Puma, completely annihilating the Rangers. And Grenadiers and Fox Grenadiers are moving in to surge forward and secure the area, as more Rangers and a mortar is once more ahead to secure the area. Perhaps not the wisest decision, as it is a close area, meaning not much room to maneuver from the vehicles. And first howitzer fire going in, forcing a large retreat. Puma knocked out by the Rangers, who gain veterancy 1 and retreat.
The Yankees are having our territory.
A fresh attempt by the Americans to secure the western half by riflemen equipped with 1 bazooka is on the way. And we have a Stu-42 Sturmhaubitze, a Stug chassis equipped with a 105mm howitzer instead of the 75mm Stug, which means Sturmkanone for those who aren't into how Germans abbreviated and named their things, which I personally find exciting, but who knows, perhaps you don't, but might as well mention it for those who care. Stormtroopers moving out with a pioneer team also equipped with an American bazooka. Grenadiers moving out to the eastern half, and the Stu-42 moving in a reserve position, ready to react to any movement, be it here or in the western half of the map. At the same time laying down barbed wire to prevent any direct attacks on this position, which have, after much fighting, after many losses, finally secured. And the Stu-42 is engaging something in the west, causing heavy casualties to the Americans, which isn't always the case, as there are cases where the Stu-42 may fire a shell, looks like it hits, but nothing is hurt at all. And now we have a large assault once more by the Americans. 5 teams, which would account for about 2 squads, I suspect. Moving ahead, 2 Rangers, 2 Riflemen, completely ignoring the Stu-42 which he had earlier identified, but instead focusing completely on my Nebelwerfer tunnel vision, which one has to be careful with. It happens to everyone, even me, but really have to try not to fall victim to it. The Stu-42 causing heavy casualties, at the same time not really causing heavy casualties, it's a bit mixed. Again, I'm not sure if some of the shells are just filled with compressed air or what. Stormtroopers moving to the aid of the Stu-42, opening heavy fire on the right. Rangers who are trying to deal with the Stu, but perhaps you consider flanking it instead of trying to take it out from the front, as bazookas aren't really meant for taking out tanks from the front. The rockets just don't have that much penetration. Heavy fire raining in. The American forces completely surrounded and annihilated. A very costly attack from the Americans, of which the only result was cutting off the western half, or they would have if it wasn't because I also held these points. And the Nebelwerfer was taken out, meaning I no longer have any artillery support.